welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, we are going to be sitting down with the Gold Hoarders to talk about Season 17's first impressions. There's a nice little snippet where Godhammer is actually going to be telling you about the upcoming community weekend and what to expect there. All that and more in this week's episode of Keelhauled Podcast. So with that, pirates, let's get into it. But before we get into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They are the ones that went over to patreon.com/Keelhauled Podcast to support this content. And if it wasn't for them, this episode would be, well, a lot more different. So with that, I like to thank them. I like to make sure that they know that they're always welcome to join in at the captain tier, I believe is what it is. The Gold Hoarders get access to this kind of an episode. They also get access to the guild, which I know we still have some slots open in the main one. So again, if there's anyone in the secondary guild that wants to move over to the primary guild, if you've been over there for a while and you want to get into the higher grade, just let me know. We can always get you switched over onto that one until it fills up. And then kind of go from there. But pirates, as always, with the call outs, I like to shout them out. So let's get into that with thanks to A Chick, L Cute, Balls, Blue Turtle V1, Captain Chonky, Captain Longsharts, Chateau Noof, Super Pack, Zombie Killer, Cosmic Johnson, Static Mirror, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Godhammer 6, Caro Embo of Embo Family Gaming, Kylia the Aficionado, King Hot Dog Pig, Nightstar 1980, Elvin Vramir, Evil Morpheus, Space Admiral Oars, Xbox Mike 29, Norwegian, Rabbit Raccoon, Regis Stella the Brony Pirate, Ribloid, Rustbelt Kid, Shoe Daddy 13, Scamelt 666, Tales of the Sea, The Demon Jester, Tommy D, TN Professor, Wailing Witch, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Heger Owl, Jeff H, Captain Duckweed, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Luke Lore the Insipid Ghost, and Wow! Coming in hot. With that, pirates, let's get into it. Welcome, everyone, to the August Keelhauled Gold Hoarder episode. We are going to be joined by some folks today to sit down and kind of talk about our initial experience with Season 17. It's been interesting so far. I think everyone might have some good feedback on this, just to kind of give us an idea of like how they're feeling about the season so far. But we've also got some news that came out recently regarding the community update or for the community weekend, kind of celebrating Sea of Thieves in Season 17. And Godhammer was actually nice enough to actually kind of give a quick little breakdown of this. So I thought it would be nice if Godhammer, who's currently attempting to murder a Barney in Sea of Thieves, if he has an opportunity. Do you, Godhammer, I want to give you the opportunity. Did you want to go over kind of what you scrubbed through and typed up for your community, as well as passing on that information to mine?
I am so glad you're asking me this.
Oh, did I lose you?
No.
Okay.
I got you. Okay, so I am the news guy for my other guild, the Grog Pirates. And I like to go through and put together a little summaries of the news just to help keep them informed and so on, because they also play other games and so on, so they don't really have time to do all their news. So I was getting ahead of myself. So I put together a little summary for them, helping them out, and we break it down as such. So you have login bonuses on the start of the community weekend. So your standard login, set sail, and you'll collect the community weekend flag. And this time it's gold, white, and red, and the paper cutout emoji, which cuts out a bunch of little rare icons, which is fun. along with that, if 100,000 world events are completed during the community weekend, you'll also earn the Ruby Legend figurehead, which is a figurehead reminiscent of all the old anniversaries, which is the griffin holding the shield. This time it's got XL on it, I believe, in red, which is nice. Then you have your standard community emissary grade. So more people who watch Twitch, the higher the community emissary grade goes. You get your gold, you get your rep, your guild rep, your seasonal renown bonus, along with allegiance and so on. Following that, you have Twitch drops. This time it's any streamer who is streaming Sea of Thieves, not just partners or build drats. You can get the Eastern Winds Ruby Pistol and Cutlass, both of which are new, never before been done. You'd think with all the Eastern Winds Ruby stuff that we've had in the past, we'd have had a Cutlass and pistol, but no, you'd be wrong. Along with that, you can get the Gilded Phoenix Pocket Watch. Just took a big bite from Barney there. The Mandrake Sails, which are a Pirate Emporium item, which is going to be coming in, along with a Voyage of Luck, a Legendary Search for Cursed Treasure, and a bonus renown, and 75k gold, along with. Along with this, as with community weekends past, if the 100,000 world events are completed, it will unlock bonus drops of the Obsidian Captain's Table and the Obsidian Captain's Logbook as bonus drops. Yes. Looking to finish off that. The Captain's Table has been a previous drop. It's coming back.
Which is nice.
Very nice. Pop-up plunder is returning, thankfully, because that's one of the best things they do in this entire game. They're changing up how it's done, though, which is interesting. They're giving us the breakdown. They're telling us where each one is going to be at. Now, they do say in the article that the islands that you start at aren't necessarily going to be where you end up as, which leads me to believe that it's going to be perhaps a little bit of a riddle to where you end up going, maybe a la the mystery, the Hoarders Hunt version. And God, I hope so, because that was great. And so they have put up a picture inside of the article telling you exactly where it's going to be started. I'm not going to list those off here because nobody needs to hear a bunch of places and dates. But they will kick off Saturday. I'm not going to read that off. You don't need to hear it. Just go check the article for all the times and places. And finally, the picture walls are coming back. And they'll be at every outpost and Reaper's Hideout. And that is what you need to know for the community weekend.
Well done. Very nice.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm excited that they're doing the pop-up plunder a little bit differently than just, dive to server, go to island, dig spot, profit. It'll be a little bit interesting. It feels a little bit more like kind of what they do with some of their old adventures, like when we had mercenary missions that were special event little things where they're like, hey, go to Wanderer's Refuge and dig up these spots, and then it'll take you to Plunder Valley, and dig up these spots, and you get a whole bunch of stuff. It's kind of cool that they're doing this a little bit differently, kind of using some of their past content to maybe kind of bring a little more longevity or intrigue to the pop-up plunder. But to kind of open things up to the rest of the community, I wanted to kind of get back to where we usually start, which is introductions, because I totally forgot about those. So we have some folks dropping in this week. Godhammer, who just kind of gave a quick breakdown on what to expect with the community weekend. But besides that, we also have Regis Stella. So Regis, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Once again, it's 6:09 a.m. Currently 3 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, and absolutely freezing temperatures right now because, screw us apparently in Tassie.
Well, we'll get to our own winter up here on the northern hemisphere eventually.
Yeah, you have snow. We just have freezing winds and freezing nights.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was what was it, like 40, 41, 42 yesterday Celsius for me. But I had to go walk in, so you know, yeah, everyone deals with the weather in their own way, right?
Yeah. Fair enough.
So, and alongside Regis, we have a new patron coming in, one of the new gold hoarders jumping in, Sea Leg Sam. Welcome, Sam. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Glad to have you on. It'll be nice to kind of have some fresh blood into the gold hoarders to kind of talk about some of the things going on with season 17. But before we really get into that, anything you want to say as far as like what got you into Sea of Thieves or what brought you to the game?
So I got into the game around 3-4 years ago. Just friends showed it me and eventually started enjoying it a lot and enjoying different cosmetics.
Very cool. Are you a big fan of pirates in general, or is this kind of like your first foray into piracy?
Well, I've watched the Pirates of the Caribbean, if that counts. But apart from that, then this is it. Well,
good to have you in kind of the realm of thieves and thievery in general. And as always, we have Static coming in. Static Mirror, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Just trying to get my Plunder Pass filled out as much as possible before next week, Tuesday. Next week, Tuesday, the Helldivers 2 comes out for Xbox, and I will definitely be diving into that for quite some time. So I'm trying to get as much done as I possibly can before that hits.
Yeah, I definitely, I have over 90 hours in Helldivers 2 on PC. And I'm looking forward to seeing all these folks coming in to jump in for Xbox community, because it is an awesome game. Very, very happy to see folks getting a chance to play it now.
90 hours? Those are rookie numbers.
I know. I stopped pretty early on.
You got to pump them numbers up, son.
You know what? This isn't pieces of flair on my outfit at the restaurant. All right, like. I got other games to play. There's things I bought that I still haven't touched. Well, as we get into it, I don't know if Godhammer's managed to kill the Barney that they were fighting, but we're getting heavy into season 17. And funny enough, with smugglers abound, I've seen probably more veils and hunters call people than I have smugglers. And I don't know if that's because everyone's already finished. But I wanted to kind of talk about season 17 impressions as we first kind of dive into this first month. There's really not too much that can really be said conclusively for this season. But given that this is the first update and we kind of know like what to expect with it, I kind of wanted to open this up to anyone and see, have you gotten a chance to play some of it? Have you enjoyed it? What are some of the things that you like, that you dislike? That you were hoping for? Like where are your expectations sitting now that you've had a chance to actually jump into the content? So was there anyone that wanted to kind of jump in first? If so, feel free to unmute. Sam?
I quite enjoyed the fact that the new gunpowder kegs will start spawning on skeleton ships. The fact that you could simply fire a blunder bomb at them and they go into a million pieces.
Yeah, definitely. I've really enjoyed those. I've really enjoyed that the skeletons on islands can spawn with them, and that typically happens on an island that actually has a smuggler, so you can snipe the skeleton, grab the keg, and then go turn it in for an easy 13k. Anyone else got some thoughts, some early impressions on some of the things that you may like about season 17?
Yes. There is not nearly as much to do with smugglers as I was kind of hoping there would be, but it is pretty well straightforward and to the point. I am a little confused as nothing increases extra value for handing in smuggler loot, and I mean literally nothing. And I'm really confused that you can't even take it to Reapers. Like Reapers are like, oh, we don't want that. I mean, Reapers is a faction that's completely based around taking other people's stuff and handing it in. And then they bring in some smuggled loot and they're like, whoa, we have standards. We don't even touch smuggled loot. Like, that's the part that really confuses me, is that Reapers apparently have standards. They take anything but actual smuggled loot. But the loot is at least worth it. The kegs alone are 13K. And that's a pretty big chunk for having no bonus added to that for flag wise. The skulls are pretty useless, but they can only really get handed in there. The bottles are, I mean, anywhere between like 2 to 5K, depending on which type of rare rum that you are handing in. The picture frames are, again, anywhere between 2 to 10,000K, depending on what type of picture frame you're handing in. The loot is good. And I guess the one thing that I do like the most is that it is old school. You cannot harpoon like this stuff like you can at Sovereigns or anything like that, or quick hand it in. You legitimately have to like run all this stuff one piece at a time and pick it all up one piece at a time. So I'm kind of digging the old school of actually having to kind of work for it.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny that Reapers seem to not really care about the pictures, and I'm like, well, they've got the one that matters, so I guess that's kind of fair. But you'd think they'd at least be interested in the rum of all the stuff, like kegs. They may, they've got rowboats with kegs built on, so what do they need Black Betties for? So Regis, have you gotten a chance to play around with these at all?
No, unfortunately, because law-wise for the smugglers, like, you're not really smuggling, are you? You're just retrieving the smuggler's goods, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. I mean, lore-wise, we kind of found out that they are a fleet that came into the Sea of Thieves. Many of their ships were, destroyed as a result of the Shroud. And the loot that they had, some of it was normal, but yeah, they're looking to reclaim their contraband effectively. And we're all, for all intents and purposes, just being asked to find it and bring it in and move it from one location to another to keep safe for them. So I agree.
That's the sorry to interrupt, but that's the thing. Like, it's just that we're doing the same. We're doing like a merchant mission, like, taking things from one location to another, which admittedly that's been the same thing we've been doing for the last 7 years at this point. So excuse me for being the cynic here. So I don't know, just was expecting a bit more than just, deliver point A to point B, maybe get jumped by a Kraken, Meg, Skelly ship, or random player. But I don't know, just want something a bit more different. I want Rare to be more ambitious with their updates and features, not just recycle content, if you don't mind me being so yeah.
No, I mean, opinions welcome, so I appreciate that, because I don't disagree. I before I get into kind of some thoughts on that, I wanted to kind of jump in for Godhammer, did you have anything that you wanted to shout out real quick?
I would say that the season's not done yet, so we've only seen 1/3 of it. The kegs are great. I absolutely love them. The black powder barrels, those things are great. The Reaper rowboat, also good. Me and A-Chick used the black powder barrels, 2 of them, to take out the burning blade, a crude burning blade, with just 2 of them. It was wild. You just get a person onto that thing with one of those things, it'll clear it out. You bring in the second one to finish the job. It was wild. As for the voyages, it's fine. They're, it's good. I personally would have more embraced sort of the smuggling aspect of it, and made it would have essentially just been a merchant delivery sort of deal, but I would open up the pool of recipients for the smuggled goods to be anybody in the Sea of Thieves. So like you would have like the Tavern Keep over at Port Merrick. You would have had like Deadshot Charlotte, could have been one of them. you could have been delivering like the Golden Greed rum to the Seapost people. I would have had that as one of the things, because then it seems like, somebody's buying smuggled goods from somebody, and that it would at least make sense as like a voyage thing. Even as basic as it is, it would fit. But otherwise, I'm looking more forward towards next month with the big event. I'm more excited for that. I was always looking at this being the second month with that event being the most interesting part, because the game's always been best when it's doing events that bring the community together, whether that's like the Decision Point adventures in the past, or things like pop-up plunder in the community weekends. When we have some sort of event to work towards, that's usually when the game's at its best. So I'm looking mostly forward towards that. So far, this part of the season, it's fine. It's not terrible. It's not great. Let's just say I am whelmed.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. One of the things that I wanted to kind of bring to the table to get some thoughts on deals around the idea that we are smugglers or helping smuggle things. And I think one of the important aspects of smuggling something is those kind of like checkpoints, those moments where you have to see if you're doing a good enough job of hiding your cargo away from people who would try to stop you. And as there's not really any kind of policing in the Sea of Thieves, it really kind of removes that sense of authority that is preventing you from properly smuggling things. If you were to think, I think we'll take Han Solo as an example here from Star Wars. He, as a smuggler, had cargo areas that were places where he would store smuggled loot or people, and did so quite frequently, and was constantly being checked by stormtroopers and guards and stuff to kind of see like where he was going, what he was taking, and if anything he had was against regulation. And without that kind of authority in Sea of Thieves, given the nature of Sea of Thieves, it feels a little lackluster to just be taking illicit cargo from one spot to the other, because for all intents and purposes, to Static's point, there are factions that will literally take anything just for the sake of getting something. It doesn't really matter to them. So without some kind of check system, and I think this is where I always wanted to have the idea of NPC ships out there that were either merchant cargo ships or ships that were kind of on patrol, looking to try and like prevent you from being able to do something, trying to like interrogate you. But there's no way to really kind of build that out in Sea of Thieves in its current iteration. So am I on point with that? Do you guys feel like that's maybe the reason why smuggling doesn't feel as impactful when you're talking about actually smuggling goods? Or is there something just inherently wrong with the mentality behind being a smuggler in a place called the Sea of Thieves?
I would say you sort of hit upon it. Smuggling is an illegal act of transporting something from one place to the other, but then that's largely what we do all the time in this game. It's one of those things. I'm not exactly sure why they decided to go upon this concept for this place, because it's a lawless environment, and smuggling is an act that deliberately subverts the law. But how do you do something illegal in a lawless land? It's confusing to me. I don't understand exactly why they went in this direction. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of think about how that goes. Did anyone else want to jump in with your thoughts on that? Am I right on the sense that there's something wrong with trying to smuggle stuff in a lawless land?
No, if you want to, I mean, if you want a law reason as minuscule as it can be, they're apparently on the run from the Grand Maritime Union.
I like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why they're here.
I mean, I like that better than anything so far. I would much rather this be the pre, and I feel like they've kind of like teased this a little bit with not only the sovereigns, but some of the texts that have been in the not in the books for the characters. It feels like the GMU is kind of at some point going to find their way in.
Approaching the horizon at this point may take them like, I don't know, a year or free at this point. But, you know, like, nice to know that they are now, that the CFE is now a destination for all those people to be driven towards before the GMU themselves find their way here. Because keep in mind, they tried it before. Now, they tried it before with brute force. Now they're trying to do it with, like, through the Pirate Emporium as the informants, and now the sovereigns as the actual agents. Well, converted pirates turned agents of the GMU. So who knows when we'll see the actual GMU and the CFE like prim proper.
Static Sam, anything y'all want to add to that?
On the voyage, as you pull up your sheet, it says that there are going to be skeleton ships and skeleton crews and stuff circling around and protecting or defending. Am I right in saying that's true?
I know that it had mention of the ghosts, which is kind of why we've been seeing a lot more of Flameheart's Spanish soldiers of fortune.
Oh my word, the amount of phantoms you get from just being on the island. I think that's something they might need to tone down, or at least make them spawn in different places instead of just down in the Smugglers League lair, as to say.
How's that been for everyone else, actually? I know we've always had kind of phantoms, and then they kind of relegated phantoms to purely nighttime. Now we're seeing them come out during the day. It seems like the Reapers, as much as they're trying to stop us from being able to get these goods, ironically don't care to actually take them. But how have the phantoms been? Static, I saw you kind of go there.
So the phantoms only pop up if you're actually doing a smuggler run. If you're not doing the smuggler run quest and you're just running loot from one smuggler to another, it's just a constant barrage of skeletons that pop up. But if you're doing the actual smuggler run quest, it is the phantoms that pop up. And the phantoms will disappear once you've completed the quest. But they did mention that skeleton ships around the area of those two islands will be more prevalent in searching for the smuggled loot. They kind of mentioned that in one of the videos. So if you haven't noticed, skeleton ships really haven't been spawning in anywhere else in the map. They have been primarily only around by those two main islands so far since they've done this update. And obviously they all have like the kegs and all the smuggled loot on there. Like they have an unnecessarily amount of loot. Even for just the Skelly sloop itself, there is an unnecessary amount of smuggled loot that is on there. It's kind of like you really don't need to do anything else other than take down the Skelly ships, because you're just going to make a gold mine just off the Skelly ships alone. Handing in all those picture frames and kegs and stuff, if you don't blow them up, will probably net you about a good 50 to 60,000 in gold, which is more than what some of the world events will actually get you by taking that time and going through those world events. And then we kind of need to talk about the sunken ships.
Well, let's get
we'll
everyone
to that in a minute then.
Yeah, we'll definitely put a pin in the shipwrecks, because that's a pain point for sure. But anyone else want to share their thoughts on how they've done the phantoms and the skeleton ships, especially given the nature of the skeleton ships themselves being tied to the Warsmith and not to Flameheart? All right, well, on to shipwrecks it is then. Static, what do you got about shipwrecks?
Well, I don't like that every shipwreck is a smuggler shipwreck now. I thought it was only going to be the ones that have the Reaper chest on it was going to be the smuggler's shipwreck, but it's just any shipwreck in general in the game right now. And to take a word from, or to take a phrase that you often say, boy howdy, does it take forever to unload that ship. There is an unnecessary amount of loot that is in these ships. And if you're a solo slooper, you're going to be there for like 20 some minutes, just slowly pulling everything out one at a time. Even with 2 people, it still takes a while. It is a big payout. Again, there's at least 3 to 4 of these kegs on a smuggler's sunken ship. So right there, you add about 50,000 just by handing in those 4 kegs. Plus the picture frames range between 2 to 10, like I said earlier. I mean, you're at like 100,000 if you pull everything off and hand everything in and didn't have to worry about fighting anybody and just took it all and handed it in. You are sitting at like 100,000 gold again, which is more than what some of the world events actually hand out right now. So it's the economy, I guess, their gold economy. It is no logical sense right now. And I don't understand what they're trying to accomplish with this smuggler stuff, because they've discontinued other things for the time being. It's like they are really kind of almost forcing you to deal with the smuggler stuff this season.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I think after season 17, we will probably see the changes come to where things feel a little bit more balanced out. I feel like they are going very heavily, and I think this was actually to the detriment of the cargo runs. They're going so heavy with finding random smuggler treasure out in the seas that there's not really as much emphasis on people who are actually doing the cargo run themselves, because you can effectively go to any of the ship 6 locations to turn random smuggler loot in. The shipwrecks being so infrequent, but so heavily laden in treasure, is an interesting approach to it. I will say I still absolutely love the fact that they finally listened and added air bubbles to the shipwrecks. I think that was a big change to what they could do with shipwrecks. But I'm hoping that, as they've kind of mentioned, things will be toned down a bit after season 17 comes and goes. Did anyone have any? Oh, Hammer, you want to jump in?
I do believe that I can't remember. I'm looking through the notes right now, but at some point I do believe certain things are going to revert, but I can't say with certainty which ones they will be. All I know is that after season 17, the Reaper chest and Reaper bounty are going back into the Fort of the Damned, but they are not currently. I'm just trying to, yeah. I'll keep looking, and if I see it, I'll pop back in.
Sounds good. Anyone else have some thoughts they want to jump in with?
Can I just add into what Static said as well? It's quite hard when you're unloading loot to trust that someone on the surface isn't already doing a smuggler's run and jumping off with a mega keg just to blow you up. I actually had that happen to me, but in the opposite sense, that I was the one running up to this person who was currently in the shipwreck unloading loot and just jumped on him while I was doing a smuggler's run.
It's definitely opened up a lot of opportunity for folks to kind of mess with others. There was a point, I think I was sailing with a chick, and we came across the one and only shipwreck I think we've actually been able to find. And by the time we had actually ferried most of the treasure out of the actual shipwreck, I started to get that kind of like paranoia set in, and I'm like, we've been lingering here way too long. Like we really got to get going. I don't know who's around, but we got barrels and we've got treasure, and we need to like find a smuggler's camp quick, because it's just a lot of treasure that we've been sitting on for far too long, in my opinion. I did want to quickly bring up the naming for the kegs, because I think TN Professor nailed it with these. I think our community is willing to fully embrace calling them Black Betties. I really love this. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. Is this something that's kind of seeped into your vernacular as you've been playing?
I was really, just before we were tuning in, I was really laughing at what the community had chosen for a name, and I definitely think it's what we should call them.
The only other name that I was kind of thinking of was to steal from the Helldivers. I was just going to call it a Hell Bomb. But when I read about the Black Betty, I was like, that's actually a lot more clever. Plus, the next word after Black Betty is Bam-a-lamb. So it sums it all up.
Right? It works a little too well.
I sort of didn't like Barney and Big Red at the start, but I've fallen into it now, and it'll probably end up being the same thing with these kegs as well.
Were you pushing back on Barney and Big Red? Aw.
Sort of, yeah.
Dang. Well, I wish I could say that I was clever and could come up with something better.
I mean, I ended up adopting them anyways, so there you go. You won in the end.
Well, shout out to TN Professor again for coming up with that Black Betty, because it was the first time I had heard anyone say that, and I think that it's such a good name for those kegs, especially given what we have all the other ones. So, I did want to quickly dive into Norwegian, who unfortunately wasn't able to actually join us for this episode. They did type up some nice stuff to kind of go over for that. So if you can all bear with me, I'm going to read through what they put in the Discord. And always, if anyone has an opportunity that they want to share their thoughts, but they can't make it for the recording, please feel free to send me a message either through Discord or through the Gold Hoarder channel. And I will always try to make sure that information, that sense comes through when we're actually doing the recording. So Norwegian said that they couldn't make it here. They wish they could, but wanted to touch on their feelings for this season and the direction that it's going. They said that they love Black Betties and how they function. They give solo sloopers the tool that they needed to take down even experienced galleons. The lightning effect when they go off was well done. And if you don't believe that, then go light one at night and then watch the shadow work. They said that the hideouts are beautifully designed and fit well into the islands. And then Norwegian goes on to say that that's where the positive ends. And you're left with the lackluster recycled material for the season. Smugglers feels like it should have been incorporated with merchants instead of with the recycled loot and quest. These missions already existed with merchants, and it feels like Rare forgot about them. It's hard to fathom how these quests give more monetary value than emissary missions. The whole point of running an emissary was to increase risk and give more reward, but this system ignores that. Not being able to sell the loot for Reapers or any other faction feels like a misstep when we are playing a pirate game. The whole point of Reapers is to steal from others, but with the new loot, you will find it left on the shores of Reapers and outposts. Lastly, the seas have way too much of this loot floating around. One skeleton sloop produced 3 Horn of Fair Winds, for example. Last night during their session, they turned in 9. The loot pool is not balanced right now with smugglers' loot everywhere. Seriously, just go look around for it. It's everywhere. All in all, a Norwegian would give the season a D. Visually, it's good, and the kegs are amazing, even if they're everywhere. But they feel like this season just misses the mark on where Sea of Thieves needs to go and completely forgets about previous missions the game already had with merchants. So jumping in with us, speaking of the devil, is the namer themselves, TN Professor. Prof, how you doing, buddy? Thought
I would drop in for a bit. Doing fine. Life's a bit busy. I'm expecting a new baby girl in September.
Congrats. It's getting down to the wire now.
It is. So last minute scrambles.
Well, I wanted to just kind of thank Norwegian for writing out such a well thought out post, and definitely appreciate that. And since Prof, you're here, wanted to kind of like check in with you. How are you feeling about season 17? I think that your naming of the Black Betty, the Black Powder Kegs is fantastic and well thought out. But I know you've gotten a chance to play a bit, but what do you think so far?
It was nice to get back on and sail with Chinzo and his crew. My regular crew, has been busy with life and things. So we only had one opportunity to sail together with the Black Rose. It was just good to be back on the seas. It was good to see, if not a variety of different missions and different mechanics, at least some different skins.
Yeah.
I think Norwegian pretty well nailed it. None of the mechanics of find treasure, load treasure, run with treasure, unload treasure has changed much. But I was expecting more risk since some of those voyages were supposed to be, kind of flagged on the map, but hasn't been the case.
It's interesting to kind of see what they planned for and stuff, and I think what they've done as far as with the smugglers and the merchants definitely does kind of draw attention to some of the stuff. How do you feel as far as the loot being everywhere? We talked a little bit about like the phantoms during the voyage being a lot to handle, as well as just the nature of this mission being all kind of like culminating in one section of the sea.
Phantoms everywhere, constantly. One of the most irritating mobs, just as far as annoyance. I will say it did up the anxiety when you're running with a Black Betty and having them around. We've also had a little bit of challenge with some of the mechanics when we're offloading them. I have now been on 2 boats where someone was jumping off the front and somehow it caught the edge of the boat and, 3, 4, 5 kegs, Black Betty's worth of explosion and all that money up in flame. There's a lot of loot laying around. Even thinking back to the old days where, you were scraping for a captain's chest. Now it just seems like there's loot everywhere. We've been shooting off to islands to see where we might find some of this new stuff, and it's just everywhere. And I don't know if rarity matters anymore in Sea of Thieves. I'm just not sure about new motivation for interaction in Sea of Thieves. All of that felt old hat when I came back, and I've been away for probably a couple months, and it just was stepping back in, same old, even with the new skins.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to kind of see if they decide to go a different way in the future, because this feels old hat to me as well too. I remember doing rag and bone crates between sea posts back in the day, and this feels very, very akin to that, but just more geared towards like cargo crates. So I don't know if this is go ahead.
I know I kind of have a reputation for dog and rare, and I don't want to just jump on for the first time in months and have that same thing. They're trying to find themselves in this new setup. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how well they had found themselves before. So I get it. It's a struggle. I still do appreciate the community, and it was nice to sail with Chinzo and his crew like old times, and sail with Black Rose and old times, and just hang together. We've done other games together in that intervening time, and it's still the social interaction, but there is a difference. I don't have any other game. I don't think I know of any other game that allows for that social interaction while you're actually in the gameplay. That is still special.
Yeah. I hope that in their endeavors to play around with the sandbox, that we don't lose kind of the essence of what made Sea of Thieves fun, which is typically the interactions that you have on there. But it'll be interesting to kind of see if this is just the tip of the spear for Sea of Thieves and kind of introducing the GMU in a different way of kind of going about it. Because I think at the end of the day, most of us are kind of accustomed to factions, and having factions just be something we level, something that we kind of address as, you log on, you get on your boat, you throw up an emissary, and then you go do voyages for the emissary for however long you want. Whereas I think, and Prof, you weren't here for the conversation, but Static made an interesting point about how good it felt to feel like you were actually having to pick up and transport goods, a la how we used to do stuff back in the day, before we had something like the Harpoon Sovereigns, and making that just a little too easy to be able to turn in loot.
Yeah, the running back and forth on the boat, offloading again, felt nostalgic and tedious at the same time.
Yeah. Definitely a little tedious.
I will say with all of the treasure around, I have so much gold and doubloons just sitting at the top of my screen with nothing really to do with them. And that's another thing that was part of the chemistry of the game originally, was, encouraging you to work for treasure so that you could get the next thing. And that's been lost for a while, and I don't know how that comes back. We're all sitting on such large piles.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there's a lot of stuff kind of sitting around. Regis, you got some thoughts?
I was just say, like, the amount of gold we have, I say the sooner we get player housing or hideouts or whatever Rare wants to call feature where you get to, I hope they find a way to make sure to display the amount of treasure we have, because I like me gold piles like dragons do. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting if they ever go that route. Joining us is actually Carl Embo Family Gaming, also Build Rat streamer. Embo, first off, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Sorry for joining so late. Busy weekend as always.
Always appreciate you dropping in. Glad to hear that you were able to spend some time with us. We're talking season 17, and we've kind of discussed the enjoyment of the kegs, the frequency of loot, as well as the infrequency of stuff like shipwrecks. We've also talked about phantoms being a plethora of phantoms and skeleton ships along the cargo route. But as we're kind of getting into season 17 and just starting things off, open table, did you want to share some thoughts on what you've thought of this season so far?
I mean, it sounds like you've already spoke about them, but the kegs are definitely the highlight, in my opinion. Lots of fun taking them over on rowboats.
Gutsy.
And I understand that I love the fact they brought back the Reaper rowboat for the keg, but to have only that one at the moment is a bit of a pain as well. Because obviously, if you're rowing over to keg someone and they shoot the keg on the back of the rowboat, or worst case, you have one on the back of your boat, you're carrying a keg on board pretty much all the time, basically, just in case you decide to do that rowboat play. But in all, I've enjoyed it. It'll be interesting to see how they change up the smugglers' routes, because obviously the one between Smugglers and Crescent's it's been the only one so far outside of the bottle quests.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like the loot. I do like it, but I don't understand why Sovereigns don't buy it. That's definitely an item. Why would Sovereigns not want those pictures? They just scream Sovereign to me.
Because the smugglers are on the run from the Grand Maritime Union, and the Grand Maritime Union sent the Sovereigns to scout ahead.
Yeah, so surely they'd want to take them back then. Surely they'd want to buy them.
I don't they want like glorified kegs, nukes in their possession in case somebody gets the right idea and blow them up to smithereens.
Yeah, not the kegs, but the actual pictures, because the pictures are very, especially the golden ones. It just kind of feels to me that that's where they should be sold. But at the same time, I understand why they don't. But in all, it's not bad. I'm more interested to see what they do next with it.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, in all, I'm enjoying it so far, and it's also given me a chance to go back and complete comms from the last two updates, the Reaper updates and the Hunter's Call updates as well. So I'm not too worried about that. Oh, and the coughs, of course, because I've got another 30 odd to go onto the top of the other 30 I need to get still.
Very nice. I appreciate the thoughts. Yeah, it's interesting to kind of see how selective a lot of the merchants in Sea of Thieves are with this treasure. I've definitely seen a handful of what was it? What was it? I think it was the Siren Skull song, or the Siren Song skulls that were just kind of floating next to Sovereigns, because you can turn in the Ashen Wind skulls for some reason, but you can't turn in the Siren Song skulls. And so I think I sailed over to, what was it, Daggertooth, saw a bunch of stuff floating in the water, took a look at what it was. It was 3 skulls. I was like, okay, well, that's 15 grand right there. So yes, I will scoop that up and sail over to Old Faithful and turn those in. And there are 6 representatives out there. There's 2 per sea. So even if it's not, even if it's kind of like with Daggertooth, you've got Old Faithful. With Galleon's Grave, you got Crooked Masts. With what's the Ancient Spire, you've got Crook's Hollow. So you're never too far from a smuggler, but if you don't think about it ahead of time and you do find that you have that stuff, it feels like an inconvenience to have to go sail. It's like before Sovereigns took fish, everyone was like, oh, do we really have to go to a sea post? Before we had hunters call representatives at the outpost, everyone was like, oh yeah, fish. Ugh, do we really have to sail out somewhere to go turn those in particular?
Yeah, you kind of forget how it was before Sovereigns and Hunters Call got onto the outpost. But yeah, I used to always just, once I'd sold all my fish, that was it. I just ate them.
People sell fish. Logan, what is this?
People have been selling fish for years. Where have you been?
I eat fish. Mine and others.
You can eat plenty. You can eat plenty of fish, but there's plenty of other stuff to eat. Like the fish. The fish
there's
worth
never
something.
been any. There's never been any to sell. We ate them.
See, this is the trouble is that you're just looking to eat the profit. You don't sample the product.
Well, but that's the best part when you're trolling, is to just take one bite and then put it back.
Monster. I'll tell you what, when you finally get your legendary Hunter of the Sea of Thieves, you start to realize how inclined you are to just bite one bite from a fish.
I'm already there.
So we have got a little bit of time. I just wanted to kind of give this an opportunity to kind of wrap up as we're getting to head out. We're going into the next month. I do want to remind people, please make sure that if you want to get that time limited Reaper's Mark sale in the Emporium, even if you may not necessarily think that the Emporium purchases are justifying the content that we're currently getting, just make sure that you are getting that, as it is time limited. So I don't want anyone to miss out on that just because of the nature of season 17 not necessarily being as interesting or as compelling as we wanted it to be. But with that, I wanted to kind of open it up. Was there anything about season 17 so far as we're going into the next event that anyone wanted to talk about?
Sorry, I just want to quickly jump in on that where you're saying about the sales. If you do want them, remember we have currently got the Xbox points available, the ancient coins available, via the Xbox points. So even if you don't want to spend real money, you can always exchange your points over, and you will also get the fancy little red ruby hat thing. I can't remember the name of it, sorry.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, that reminds me, I need to finish my last day of Bing searches on mobile, because Godhammer's method of doing that was the only way I was been able to actually get those to register. Anyone else, though, want to jump in?
I think it's worth pointing out that the Buildrat stream team currently have a bunch of it is Gilded Phoenix ship tables and captain's chairs, or captain's tables and captain's chairs for your galleon. They're currently giving those away during their streams, so seek them out and see if you can win some really fancy exclusive loot through that.
Just to add on to the back of that as well, it's available currently. Our current giveaways are running between now and the end of September, so there is an exclusive amount. It's only available by the Build Rats, so if you do want some, make sure you get in and go support that the members of that team. Can someone just remind me? I've completely forgotten. Is it the Reaper Fort or the Reaper? What's it called? Or the Phantom Fort? Sorry.
Forts.
You're talking about the upcoming event?
Yes. So I've seen a few trailers and a few people going online where there's been Phantom Fleet ships, like you would see in the Burning Blade Armada, circling a skeleton fort. So I just want to ask, what is that this next month, or is that the month after?
That is going to be Oh, go ahead, Regis.
That's gonna be in October.
Righty, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
Yes, in September it's going to be the heist at Royal Crest Fortress is going to be the month-long event. That will be accessible where the Siren Song quest is on your ship's mast, because it's going to be a community quest that multiple people can a community voyage, I should say, that multiple people will be able to take part in at once.
righty. And what type of loot are we expecting?
I don't know that they've said anything particular, but the intent is to go in and try and steal a particular painting and then turn it in to be able to get the rewards.
Righty.
Secure, paintings is what it is. The only thing that they've said so far.
Alrighty. Well, unless there's anything else that anybody wanted to jump into, that pretty much takes us to time. So last shout out in case anyone wanted to bring up anything. Otherwise, we can round it out with everyone saying goodbye.
Can I just say thank you for accepting me into the Gold Hoarders, and it's been really good chatting with you guys for the first time. Thank you.
Definitely appreciate having you in. Glad to have you kind of in your first episode. I guess with that, in that case, let's work down the list and have everyone say anything that they want to shout out or what they're up to, and we'll head on out. So Godhammer, starting off with you, anyone you want to shout out or anything that's going on that you want to let folks know about?
Nothing particular. Just shout out to my crew. Sam, Tengu, Witch, you guys are the best. Along with A-Chick, thanks for having me back on your stream again. And Katgar as well. Thank you for having me on your stream as well. That'll about it. Have a good week, everybody, or good month.
Awesome. Carl Embo, glad to have you jumping back in, Carl. Anything you want to shout out or let folks know, especially given that you're part of the Build Rat crew?
No, just to obviously take an opportunity to go check out all my fellow Build Rats. The easiest way to find them is on the Sea of Thieves website under seaofthieves.com/stream team. There's no easy way to find it, I'm not going to lie. You're probably easy just Googling it. Or if you go to any Sea of Thieves streamer that you know is already in the Build Rats, you'll also see it on their profile too. There's lots of people doing different types of giveaways currently for the Gilded Phoenix table and chairs. There's roughly about 100 of us, and we've all got 5 each. So it's very limited. It's very exclusive. So good luck, and I look forward to seeing everyone out on the seas and in chat very soon.
Fantastic. And yeah, I'm hoping that they'll eventually get a direct way to navigate to the Build Rat crew, like listings for the directory there. Regis, we're heading out. Anything you want to shout out or say as we go?
Just the fact that it's gonna be my birthday in about 2 weeks on the 8th of September, and it's gonna be one of the I'm turning 27 like in 2 weeks, and sheesh, it's a long time. Yeah, and I'm also going to get, if those who want to check the Gold Hoarder Discord channel, I'm going to be getting this Lego set for one of my birthday presents. And it's going to be pretty amazing considering it's one piece and Lego, which I like both.
Awesome. Well, early happy birthday to you as well, too. Appreciate that. And
Thank you.
Definitely let us know. Like, I know a lot of stuff. I think I saw there was a first look at the Black Pearl Lego set as well too. So any Lego fans out there, One Piece and Black Pearl both getting representation.
Yep.
All right. And next up we've got Sea Leg Sam. Sam, thanks again for jumping in and joining the Keelhauled crew. Happy to have you. Anything you want to shout out or say as we head out?
I want to say one thing. Keep blowing the crap out of everyone using the Big Betties, and have a good month. Thank you.
Definitely make sure you guys are having fun with those kegs. Static, we are heading out, sir. Anything you want to shout out or say as we get out?
No, not in particular. I mean,
no.
Well, I mean, there's
nothing.
There is one thing.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm still waiting on my crystal pig. I don't. Why can't they smuggle one into the game now? I mean, come on, it's there. It's possible, and as long as you're at it, smuggle in some kilts. That's it.
I mean, we have a painting of a pig. it's a step away from smuggling a crystal pig into the game, right?
I mean, if they really wanted to be mean, they could put a crystal pig on the painting on the painting just to tease me.
I think that's fantastic. And then last but not least, Prof. Tien, how you doing? And anything you want to shout out or say as we head out?
You know, I want to thank those that helped me get over the final push during Golden Glory and get my Skelly curse. Oh, what a slog. And in that, everyone in Keelhauled was a bit busy. And so I ventured back into Sea of Thieves looking for crew. And you know what? Had a blast doing it with complete strangers. Sometimes rando crews, it was just a bunch of shaking my head and laughing inwardly. But other times it was really neat to see others and how they play outside of the typical community. So, you know what? Every now and again, brave the chance to sail with somebody completely new and different.
I appreciate that. Really good. And as always, if anyone has fresh or is fresh to the Sea of Thieves and needs help, we always do have the Sherpas available in the Keelhauled community who are willing to go and be those kind of like folks willing to at least help out, let people know kind of what to do, what to look out for, how to play, things like that. Good for advice, as they are all typically old salts on the seas. That is going to do it for this episode. Gold Hoarders, thank you so much for joining me. It was great to talk to you, and it was really good to hear the differing opinions on season 17. I think a lot of us are kind of interested in what's going to happen, enjoying different aspects, but fair criticism across the board. I don't think anyone was too harsh in their criticism of what season 17 is kind of giving us at the moment. But it is interesting to hear that no one is just absolutely loathing the content, that there's at least some merit to some of it and some nature. And with that, I think that's going to do it. So Pirates, thank you. I love you. And I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.